The pictures tell the story. This life had many shades. I'd wake up every morning and before I'd start each day, I'd take a drag from last night's cigarette that smoldered in its tray. Down a little something, then be on my way.
We are live. Hey guys, how's it going? This is David here with the Whiskey Rebellion. We are joined by our regulars, of course, tonight, and welcome back everyone to the show. I know we were off, but yeah. Also wanted to introduce tonight. We have a very special guest, Mr. Tom Flemming of the Louisiana Moonshine Company, and tonight's topic we are talking about moonshine. And as I understand it, he runs a legal business. So he's always like, yeah. So because, and that's why this is a topic of tonight, because myself and others who may or may not identify themselves have consumed moonshine of the good old fashioned variety, when it comes in a clear mason jar and out of the back of somebody's trunk. But this is something a little bit different. So first of all, Tom, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. Doing great. Good
deal. Glad to hear it. And I guess you just came into contact with us through our Mark here. Tell me how that interaction went, first of all.
Well, Mark wandered in here 2-3 nights ago. And
wandered or stumbled? I just curiosity.
Well, I didn't say stumbled.
You just can't get him to leave, right?
Well, when I'm giving free samples out,
and
that's all part of the business and marketing strategy. And we offer samples of everything that we have here. And believe it or not, it opens people's wallets up.
I believe that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as the conversation went, introducing some of the whiskeys that I've made and the moonshine and everything else that I'm involved with it, he says, "Hey, I think you'd be a good guest on what we're doing tonight."
Okay. Well, very cool. So tell me about, I guess, kind of like how you got into that. Like, what was your I hesitate to call it a journey because that sounds a little overblown, but like, what made you pick this as the thing that you wanted to go into business to make versus some other kind of spirit?
Well, I was doing this for, say,
yada yada.
And it becomes so popular, and I had a lot of people of influence, as like the old speakeasy. Then I said, I think I need to get some paperwork hanging on the wall before somebody actually come in and shut me down.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and with paperwork on the wall, we still use what I call the backwoods technology in a commercial setting.
Okay.
And we use copper still pots from Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia. So no stainless. And that's what makes moonshine unique.
Yep.
Distilled in copper. Okay. I did not know that.
Yep.
Yes.
Very cool.
Totally different flavor profile. I've been to both.
Copper actually takes all of the different sulfurates and the things out of it that gives you a bad head in the morning. And the downfall of copper is once you run several types of mashes, if you try to do a brandy with fruit, you get a ghost flavor, and you got to really clean. So
gotcha.
Yeah. There was a gentleman that I know that does that. He says, the copper has a memory.
Yes.
Interesting. So is that more than just like cleaning it out real well? Like, is there a certain point where like it's just going to retain some of that, almost like seasoning a pan kind of thing?
Well, yes. If you take a virgin still, which a good friend of mine, which is a master Master Distiller from the TV show. We broke in a Virgin Still here a couple weekends, and we run 2 runs through it just to give it, as you're saying, like seasoning a cast iron pot. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's very interesting. So I guess what are some of what would you say some of the major differences between, say, your product? Well, here's a better question. So I've noticed that most commercially available things that are labeled as moonshine that you can buy in a liquor store are quite different than the moonshine I don't want to say grew up on, but I had access to as a younger man. I'll say it that way. Like that there are some significant differences there, and how is that based on legal requirements? Like why are they so kind of different?
Well, I'm considered a liquor manufacturer.
Okay.
So as a micro distillery, I'm limited on a lot of things. As a manufacturer, no. Now, that being said, your larger out of the Tennessee area, without getting into names, they actually use a chemist in the background to infuse flavors. And they're using basically sugar and water. I actually process a ton or more corn with sugar every month. And the different natural wild yeasts here, the water, the yeast that I use, which gives mine an actual different profile.
Okay.
And I am making moonshine just what you've all probably have tried out of the trunk in the mason jar. So, and that's what makes mine so unique. You know, a lot of my customer base will come in and say, we'll never go back to those larger distilleries and purchase it because it actually tastes like an acetone.
Okay.
Something like fingernail polish. My stuff here, when I mix it, make your apple pies, your peach cobblers. I have a sipping greens. You do not taste the alcohol whatsoever. So,
Nice.
and that's what makes mine so unique.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's and based on my kind of experience with, again, we'll say off the books distillers, that you can get anything from variety from what you're talking about, and they called it just like the clear white lightning, that some of it's just been just amazingly, even there's no kind of nasty heat or and otherwise flavor to it. And I've drank some other stuff that kind of tasted like jet fuel,
kind of,
maybe it was jet fuel. I don't know, but Jet A is clear, by the way, if anybody doesn't know that. But well, almost clear. But anyway, so and that's just comes down to the quality of the process where, I would find, the ones that could make maybe some better stuff. And it sounds like, adhering to more kind of rigorous protocols in their production. But for your stuff, I think kind of the question on all of our minds is that, most of the stuff that we see commercially, at your liquor store, it's like the moonshine with the pickles in it or whatever. There's a place out of Lynchburg, and I can't remember their name, and I won't use it. But usually there's stuff kind of low proof, kind of hits as a liqueur, and we may be all a little bit snobbish about that at this point because we drink some pretty high proof stuff sometimes. What does your stuff normally clock in at?
My flavored stuff, your pickle, and then I'll tell you a story about that. The apple pie is 50 proof.
Okay. Nice. Okay. All right.
The
We're talking
pickle
now.
is 50 proof. My peach, my strawberry watermelon, my berry, those are all 44 proof.
Okay.
My sipping creams now are 35 proof.
Okay.
And then again, everything, gentlemen, that comes off of the still, whether it's a Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, so on and so forth, is moonshine. Everything is done post distillation.
Yep.
So with trial and error, more errors than trial, is finding that balance to where I want you to taste apple, but I don't want it so overwhelming with the cinnamons and everything else that goes with it. I've had apple pie that when you tasted it, like you're saying, it tastes like rocket fuel,
Yeah.
and you might well be drinking Fireball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff.
So do you find people tend to lean more towards the fruited or the flavored shines over some of the over your regular, like the stuff that Mark's drinking tonight?
Depending on which day it is. We have
Fair.
days where we cannot keep our clear stuff at all. We have days where all of the fruit flavored we can't keep. Our most popular is the sipping creams. And that's a non-dairy product. It's 17 proof, 17%.
Mhm.
And we can't keep it.
Would that be comparable to like a Bailey's or a bourbon cream or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Showcase it.
There you
Nice.
go.
Nice.
Ooh, I like the label.
Yeah, it is nice.
Nice.
He's not kidding either.
He's sending a case home. Just
He's like, that's what I'm taking home right there.
Right. So I'm curious. I do have a question. So as somebody who produces this product, so like for myself, I produce barbecue sauce, and every time I make a batch of something, I'm only really tasting for consistency. I have nothing against my product, of course, but I don't taste it the way the consumers do. So for yourself, do you find yourself really just checking for consistency and quality, or do you actually have the product on a regular basis?
Both. I try to put myself on the other side of the counter. Way I look at it is, if I don't like it, it's not going on the shelf.
Absolutely.
So I use the term a constant consistency. I'll even bring stuff out that's not registered and give it away and ask people, what's your opinion? If they like it, it goes on the shelf.
So should I send you my address or? So I'm happy to give you reviews. Quiet, Chuck, not a word.
Gladly.
And Mark is going to review every bit of it.
Very nice.
Very good. Does anybody else have any kind of questions off the cuff?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Gino. You got it. Go
Yeah,
for
Go
it.
ahead, Gino.
Just a real quick one. Have you ever thought of taking a portion of your runs and just setting it back and putting some age to it to see what develops?
Yes.
Cool.
Now, this is the trick behind this, or the kick in the tail. Everything that comes off of that money spout, everybody gets a slice of the pie. Okay. I have a state and federal excise tax. Plus, I have to keep a business going too. Now, if I do 10, 20 gallons, it wouldn't hurt. But once I get up into 50 to 100 gallons, setting it back in barrels, if I'm not careful, I'll pay tax on that again.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Sleepy
That's
Joe
good to
don't
know.
need that much money.
no.
So how long would it have to sit until you started getting tax? You had to pay tax on that again.
Well, you got to look at it this way. A jar times 4, it's a gallon. By the time this gallon is reached to the consumer, and depending on the state, there may be as much tax as there is in retail price.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
I can see that.
everybody through the 3-tier system gets their slice of the pie.
One piece.
Then you get your state sales tax. Here we have parishes, which they get their cut. And that's not including the federal and the state for excise tax.
Oh wow! So you mean to tell me you can actually get taxed 3 times before it literally hits the shelf?
The way it works is, regardless of any distiller, whether it's moonshine, whiskey, rum, makes no difference. Once it is come off of the still, it has been blended, whatever your process is, and the tax has been paid on it has to be moved to a non-bonded premise. Let me repeat. It must be moved. Now, you're going to pay on the retail side your excise tax, your state sales tax, if you have a county or parish tax. Now, and I'm going to pay an income tax on it.
Money coming back, yeah.
So you figure it out.
Well, let's just say I'm not going into the liquor business. I'm gonna mind my business in the barbecue sauce world.
But to answer the original question, we are going to put some up. It just won't be. We're going to put some up.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cool.
Chuck.
Yeah, I have a.
Chuck.
Chuck.
Excuse me. My question is, as far as the distillation process goes, what is the purpose of this? It's a product they call the pecker. What is that? What does that? What's the meaning? What is that? What is that for? What does that do?
That's an Arkansas toothpick.
Okay.
It is. It's an actual raccoon penile bone.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was just wondering what was the purpose in that.
No.
Well, the
I'm sorry,
purpose
what?
of it is your traditional moonshine still. You have your pot, your doubler, then you have your condenser. Out in the woods, you don't see these $200,000, $300,000 oil jacketed, steam jacketed stainless pots with all these valves and gauges. So they actually stick the coon pecker. It's called sticking your pecker in it.
Whoa.
Get the stream to follow it into the container they're catching it.
Okay.
Oh my.
Now watch that pepper.
Thank you for that, Chuck. That's it.
Yeah, I just
didn't
had
need to
that.
know.
You know,
It's
that was
all
just
good.
one of those things. I followed. You know, some of this
I
stuff.
use a proofing parrot.
So it's not a metaphor at all.
No.
I
Watch
follow
that
this,
pecker.
some of this stuff in some of these Facebook groups. You know, there are face groups dedicated to this stuff, and I know I just always wondered what that what is the meaning and what's the purpose of it?
Well, if you see somebody dressed like I am, for say in Newport, Tennessee, this in June, or Maggie Valley, North Carolina in July, and I have a cross pecker on my hat, that's a sign of a true moonshine.
Okay.
No peckers on my head. No peckers on my forehead.
No,
David, does that
No,
make you
don't
want to
put
go
the
buy that
pecker on my
shine
forehead.
out of the back of that truck, man?
That's a question I'm going to ask next time I'm there.
All I can say is that the stuff I bought, I know it was purified.
Yeah.
I know
well,
there
after
was.
you stick it
that shit
in
was
at
hot enough.
160 proof, 70 proof, it's purified.
It's
You don't have
purified.
to worry about anything but
No,
losing your
it's
eyesight.
it's the thought that counts.
And listen,
With something like that, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
and over the
I'll never not think about it now.
and over the last 2 days, there's been enough peckers in the social media.
Oh, true.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, it's
there
not
has
a
been.
Bud Light.
Oh Lord.
My, oh my.
And listen, I'm so naive. I had to look up to see what the whole thing was about.
Oh,
Oh,
my
boy,
gosh.
oh boy, did I walk into some bullshit there.
Knee deep.
Yeah, watch them peckers,
Yeah.
boy.
Mm.
Watch that pecker.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Oh, my
So
So,
I have
I
another question.
Oh no.
No, it has nothing to do
yes.
with any peckers or anything. Now that I got that out of my system. No, it's just that I wanted to know, as far as your process goes, how large of a process do you like? How large is your facility, and how large of what type of product? How much can you put out, say, per week or day or whatever it may be? And do you ever?
Now,
Oh, I'm sorry.
we're new.
Hmm.
So we're growing in leaps and bounds. By summer's end, we should be, in theory, upwards of 200 gallons of shine a week.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay,
Nice.
that's a good turnout.
I have a couple of stills right now, daily, 35 gallons.
Cool.
And that's the hearts. That's not
Okay.
the tails. It's not the heads or the foreshots. That's the actual hearts.
Can you explain what each of those
That
means?
designation, yeah.
Yeah, sure. The foreshots starts at about 175 degrees. The heads start coming in at about 177, 178. And what that is the methanol burning off the mash. Okay. I know it's heads because it smells just like fingernail polish remover.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's pretty nasty. I have tasted it. That's the only way you could tell that you're getting into the hearts. Okay.
Hmm.
Your heads and your foreshots is not a lot of difference. Okay. Now your hearts is right in the middle of the run. And a lot of that starts to dictate, of course, temperature, the proof, and as the time goes on, the distillation time goes on, your proof will start to decline because you're distilling more water than you are alcohol.
Hmm.
And once your proof gets to a certain point, you can actually taste the difference.
Okay.
Let's say it gets down below 100 proof. It's almost like watered down whiskey. And if you put it in a white bucket, it will start to form a oily sheen on the outside of it, which you're getting into your phospholates.
Okay.
And does that answer your question? I mean,
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Now, my next question would be, what can you do with the 4 shots and the product, the
head and the tails,
byproduct,
yeah.
the heads and the tails?
Well,
Yeah.
the 4 shots and the heads, we actually use it to sanitize stuff,
Okay.
which is perfectly legal.
Yeah.
I've been in a vodka distillery just south of us. They actually use that to sanitize their bottles before they put their product in it.
Okay.
Perfectly
Oh,
legal.
yeah.
Now,
Okay.
you have to be very careful with that. I know from experience, put too much on the floor, it strips the paint off.
That's good information there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. When I was up visiting Jody, we went to Leifer's Fork, and I actually got to learn about the whole heads and all that other stuff. And they mentioned that that's basically what they do with that product as well. They use it to clean stuff with, and you could actually see where some of it does get on the floor. The guy explained it, and you could see where it kind of chews through the paint a little bit.
Yeah, you can actually see it blister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I've also taken those 4 shots with the tails and added it back in and redistilled it.
Okay,
Which
that was
actually
one of
will
my
keep
other
your proof
questions. Okay.
So, and it kind of gives it and brings that flavor back through too, because your tails has all of your flavors. So,
Okay.
you can take clear whiskey, distill it 3 times, and what do you have? A higher proof whiskey with less flavor.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there a particular strain of corn that you guys use out there?
Well, Louisiana is not known for its grain. So I have to usually get what's available. So I have a farmer that customizes feed for people with horses and cattle, and we buy up bulk. And I mean, it's a smaller yellow to an orange kernel, and it's pretty sweet. So exactly whether it's a hybrid or what actually the corn name is, I don't know.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that question is there's a local legal distillery that does their own shine here in West Virginia. It's close by, Still Hollow. They use a particular variety of a red corn that's extra sweet. It's
Red
blood
corn.
something or other. I
That's
forget the name of
Jimmy
it.
Red,
Jimmy Red.
out of Georgia.
No, that's not what it is.
No.
But I like that though.
It's got something
Oh,
about
yeah.
blood in the name of it, but that's the corn they use to make their corn whiskey.
Well, and that might be something
Delicious
that comes
stuff.
locally too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that's been growing around that area for eons. So, yeah, that's why I asked, if there was something in particular you
Well,
guys
it's
use
like a
for
lot of
yours.
places, you can go and get your blue corn and your heritage corns and the Jimmy Reds. But you're talking big money for a 50-pound bag of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you start getting into a ton or a couple of tons,
Yeah, not feasible at scale, sure.
no.
Now, did the pandemic affect you at all with getting your supplies and getting them on time or anything in that nature?
Not me. I wasn't legal then.
I like it. I like
It
it.
is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm coming out of the closet.
Okay.
What it means is he decided for the first time in his life. I know, yeah. Where's Jody with the?
I'll drink to
Yeah,
that.
where's Jody?
No,
Jody
but
is
the
by-
pandemic in this area really hit a lot of businesses. And the building that I'm occupying had a distillery in it, and the pandemic really hit them hard. Of course, you had your typical Karens going up and down the highway. Why are they open and I can't do this? So the state come in and just shut a lot of things down.
Yeah, because here in Miami, liquor stores, grocery stores, and gas stations literally were the only three things that were open, aside from the hospital and the jails. Other than that, everything was shut down.
Well, we happened to be in an area when I went through the foyer of Walmart. There was no more, no more COVID, you know.
Yeah.
So, and but everything around here stayed open. It's for our big box stores.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have plans on? Well, first, let me ask you: what do you distribute to other states, and where do you see yourself going in the next 3 to 5?
Question.
At the moment, I'm distributing in Louisiana.
Okay.
In 3 to 5, I would like to be nationally. That's
Nice.
where I would like to be at.
Nice.
But I don't want to get to the point of where I forget where I came from.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Very
No,
nice.
I definitely understand that, because myself looking to expand my barbecue sauce business, I know for a fact that in 3 to 5 years I shouldn't be making sauce myself. If I did that, I did something wrong. But my biggest hurdle to get over is going to be giving up control of that, you know, being able to run the business instead of, you know, making sauce. You know, for me, I'm all about, you know, where I started, where I'm at, and, you know, where I want to go to. And I realized, you know, Henry Ford at some point didn't build Fords himself. You know, he had to step away from it, and he hired somebody else to do it. But I'm such a control freak. So for me, how do I get to the point to where I'm willing to take my hands off the wheel, so to speak?
You
know?
never will.
Yeah.
Tom, how do
baby,
you
dude.
square that circle? Do you still control everything yourself personally, or do you have people that you're apprenticing, so to speak, or other people that you kind of have, you know, full faith and confidence
I
in?
am a one-man band.
So y'all got the same problem then, is what it sounds like.
Well, the only advantage that I may have, of course, I have connections through the Moonshiners on TV
Okay.
and the Master Distiller. I have some of them that are becoming permanent fixtures here, which
Nice.
brings a lot of stuff out. And they're bringing more knowledge to the table than I could ever contribute. So, and it would be one of these things where I could sit in the background, do the paperwork. They're running the stills, but I will always have my hands in it.
Got it. I mean, because, you know, again, that's the same problem. I hate doing the paperwork. I hate it. Every day I wish I can just wake up, make sauce, you know, put 10 or 12 briskets on the smoker and just enjoy my day. But, you know, the red tape of it all, paying taxes, making sure you're up to registration on all your licensing and all the other BS, and everybody wants money from you. The state wants money, the county wants money, the city wants money. You know, it's just one of those things where I don't know if I want to make that trade. You know, I think it would be much easier for me to get somebody to run the business and just let me make sauce. You know,
It's got to be, if it's your baby though. Like, it's got to be the other way around eventually.
Yeah.
That
It's
sucks,
your baby,
man.
dude. That's the thing. Who do you trust with your baby?
Nobody. I mean, like, you
That's
know,
the
I
thing.
really understand where he's coming from, because again, you know, when I do these pop-ups, I give samples of my sauce away like crazy. I won't even let somebody buy it until they sample the sauces. And the advantage to that is instead of them buying one sauce, they'll buy 6, you know.
Okay.
But I allocate a certain amount of my product that's just going to be given away. No matter what happens, this, 2 or 3 gallons of sauce is going to be strictly giveaway. And it's one of the things that when the sauce hits their mouth, they're already hooked, you know. And I
Oh,
see
I
that.
think we lost.
Oh, we lost them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, the screen froze. They should
Yeah.
come back in. They should come back in. Keep going, Billy. Though.
No,
That's
it's
okay.
just-
talking
Great
about-
thoughts, brother.
yeah, it's just it's.
And
one of
I'm
those
looking to
things-
retire in about a year.
Listen,
So-
come run the business. Let me make sauce.
We got bad weather here.
There we go.
I'll be
So-
available for you, Billy.
Yeah.
Just letting you know,
Listen,
brother.
I'm
Throwing
ready.
it out there.
So
Billy, if it wasn't so freaking hot in Miami year round,
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
your boy. But
No.
it's too hot down there for me.
listen, you guys.
It's
All
not
right,
too
we're
hot
back.
down there for me.
Listen.
Put me in, coach.
Here's what was so funny about Tennessee. In the morning, it was nice and cool. Even when we went down to the Mule Day parade, I was in short pants and a t-shirt. It was a beautiful day, you know. And although it was nice, it was a little warm, but the humidity wasn't there. That's what sucks about here. The humidity is just
No, you
It's
you
ridiculous.
have to understand. You had a particularly rare weather while you were here, and it's because of like the huge storms and tornadoes, and it was massively windy. Like when we went out to Uncle Nearest and stuff like that, like we
Yeah.
took our hats off and had to hold them because they were not going.
Yeah,
they were
it
gonna.
was-
They,
Well-
not only would they have blown off, we would have lost them. Like
Rob
that's how windy it
Rob
was.
can attest to this too because he gets a lot of the same weather I get. And it's like there are times where you will get all 4 seasons in a day.
I
One
believe
day.
that. I believe that. Tennessee's absolutely like that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the worst thing I experienced was when we went to Uncle Nearest. By the way, if anybody gets a chance to go there, check that place out. It is
It's
absolutely
on my
Seriously.
bucket list.
gorgeous.
Yeah, they call it
I love
Malt,
their
Malt
product,
Disney
man.
World,
Oh,
It is.
which
they,
is great.
We went into the back where they have this bar. I think the girl was telling me it's something like 400 linear feet of bar space.
Wow.
It was it was quite incredible.
Yeah, this bar literally takes up a room. I don't even know how to describe how big this room is, but
There was like so there was like a stage, almost like an old timey theater kind of setup, and the way they had it wasn't like a bar that was in front of it. It was like a series of bars that were staggered around, so that no matter which bar you were sitting at, you still had a full view of the stage. And they
Yeah.
had like just opened this place like the week, I guess
That
like the week
week.
prior.
Mm.
And yeah, it was amazing. And of course,
And
you could do distillery tours, and they had a barbecue joint in there. Like,
yeah,
very, very cool. Very, very cool time in Uncle
But
Nearest.
did you
Yeah.
get any of the distillery only
I did,
Uncle
yes.
Nearest product?
And it's at Jody's
they
place.
did. They posted pictures of it. The
It was-
bastards.
I got the Uncle Nearest rye, the
Great.
single
I did
barrel,
see that. Yes.
and it was it was good. Yeah,
And let me
thanks.
Gino, Rob, let me tell you,
Gina, we're not far, man. We can hook you up.
the company came out with a rye,
I seen that.
and let
Yes.
me tell you, if somebody did not tell you it was a rye,
You never
you
know.
would not know it. It is. Listen, I think altogether, we left 4 or 5 bottles at Jody's house,
Yeah,
So-
we left a bunch of Jody's.
and we
Never
we
know.
hammered that company. That bottle was damn near gone. Yeah.
That guy's local, man. You don't need to leave the bottles there. I mean, we can get that shit all the time. Take the bottles.
I did. Well, he got a bottle, and I was like, I wanted to give him the Uncle Nearest. He's like, no, man. And then he opened his company, and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna put all this shit back for until the next time.
Yeah.
Our people get together, and hopefully Billy gets together, and like it's gonna be here waiting for us. Even that that Balvenie 14 Caribbean. That stayed
Yeah.
at Jody's. And you know what? I'm not especially not worried about that one because he doesn't fuck with scotch.
He doesn't
Yeah.
touch scotch. You're fine. It ain't going nowhere.
That's good scotch, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's amazing scotch. Sorry, I'm trying to find a picture. I took like a panoramic picture of this place we're talking about. It's gonna be up in the VIP. By the way, if you guys are not in the VIP chat, if anyone who is watching, you need to be. Set out a request to this account or what have you. We can get you in there.
So I do have
Just one.
another question. So out of all the different styles of products you can get into, bourbon, whiskey, this, that, and the other. What made you get into moonshine?
Everybody does whiskeys,
Mhm.
rums, vodkas. In this state, just south of us, there's a vodka, a rum distillery. There's a couple of whiskey distilleries. I am the first and only moonshine distillery in Louisiana statehood.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Now,
Yes.
so
Legal
literally,
moonshine.
So you're standing out. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
do you have any worries because not only did you build the hill, you're at the top of the hill. So at this point, any and everybody's going to be gunning for you because you're the only one to gun after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already had that happening. I had these two old boys come in a week or so ago. They walked in and they introduced themselves as moonshiners.
Yeah.
And now, when a moonshiner sets up, they get their captive audience. They don't like anybody moving in on their territory. I believe when they come in, that's what they were doing, is checking my stuff out
100%.
Oh yeah.
because they probably went to deliver and they already had my shine.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
And it was funny the way they approached us. And they come in, and if you've never heard a Cajun backwoods dialect before, it's almost you don't understand it. But they come in, I'm a moonshiner. I come in, check out, see what you got going on.
I watch a lot of swamp people.
I was just curious. Yeah. Just listen to the Langdons there on Swamp People.
So, as somebody who you probably experienced that quite a bit, and you will, how do you handle that? Because I've experienced that. I actually had a guy come up to my pop-up, buy barbecue sauce, and like 3 months later, here he is. I was like, okay.
Hold on, is that Stan?
No, this is a guy in my. This is
Another guy. Yeah.
This is a guy in my
Is this the
neighborhood.
guy
just
across
down
the
the street,
street?
isn't
He's
it?
the guy across the
Yeah.
street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we could have took care of him.
You know.
Well,
You know,
here in this particular area, there are more moonshine stills than you can believe that there are. They'll actually come in, try my product, and say, "Oh, this is better than my brother's cousin's sister's cousin's twice."
and then,
Yeah. What he made
That's
tastes
awesome.
like rubber tires or
Yeah.
so I'm not really concerned. I again have several people of influence that actually check the building, and I'm not worried. Just not worried.
All right.
Plus, the thing that you
Yeah.
got over them is you've got the paper on the wall.
That's
Yeah.
right.
absolutely, and I exactly the way I feel. So if I happen to go into a place like we went into Puckett's when I got to Tennessee.
Fuck it.
By the way, again, shout out to Jody, but God damn it, we drank so much. Every day we were drinking before 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Beautiful.
mean,
Dude, when I got down there on Friday, they were like, and to his credit, Billy was fine. Like he was fine. He was in the kitchen. He was making some fantastic quesadillas. Like he was rocking it out. Jody was on the couch.
Jody
And
and
I don't
Chief,
mean he was sitting on the couch,
yeah.
but he was on the couch.
him and Chief hanging out, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So his face
for-
making sure he was still breathing.
so of course, we go in the buckets, and they got 2 bottles of barbecue sauce sitting there, and I'm doing everything in me not to mess with it. I'm just like, no, come on, no, fuck it, come on. So I tasted it, and it was all right,
Yeah.
And here's the thing: I'm not gonna say it was good. I'm not so uppity that I can't claim that other people have good barbecue sauce.
Mhm.
But my confidence is knowing what I have,
Yeah.
So listen. It's a free market. I don't care if everybody else wants to start a barbecue. So I know what I have. I know what I go up against. Competition I think keeps you honest.
I'll make sure you get some.
And
So-
you know what your customers want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I listen to my customers a great deal. I listen to their feedback. But the one thing I absolutely refuse to do is to change the makeup of my sauce.
Yes.
Most barbecue sauces you get are typically very thick, and I will never be
Yeah.
that, no matter what happens.
Don't need
Because if I could say anything that I can hang my crown on, is no one's ever questioned me about that. Everybody's
it's-
really enjoyed the way that my sauce is.
And it's funny that you say that. I've had people come in here, husband, wife, stands at the bar. And all we're doing is sampling, tasting, okay? I've had them say, it's too sweet. The other one, not enough alcohol, or this or that. I am not changing my recipes just for
No.
2 people.
No.
And I tell them, everybody has a different palate, different ways of tasting things. So, and if I change it for you, then I got to change everybody.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No,
Yeah,
it makes
absolutely.
perfect.
Perfect.
Listen, I'll sell a piece of the company before I change the base of the
Yes.
sauce.
Yeah.
100%. Because I feel like I made it a point of origin when I started out what barbecue sauce is and what I don't want to be. So
Yeah.
I can commend you on that. So amen to that.
That's the thing too that I love about your sauces. It's like, well, barbecue season's upon us. I'll be smoking stuff all weekend long, and that's what I love because your sauce is not being thick. I can sit there,
Yeah.
caramelize that stuff, and it is just fantastic. It is the perfect point on that. That's why I keep buying it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And so Sunday, I'm doing 2 briskets, 2 racks of beef short ribs, regular ribs,
man.
pulled pork, chicken, collard green, mac and cheese. And the reason I'm doing it because, as you guys know,
Email me your address.
I think I just gained another half a pound from that description.
So you guys know I just got my smoker.
Yeah, you
some
did.
upgrades.
Yeah.
So I did the initial burn in of all the new components. So this Sunday, I'm gonna pack it to the
on.
gills and make it run like a horse.
Nice.
Nice.
So that's what this
Nice.
Beef
weekend's
ribs
all
are
about.
going on tomorrow here. I know that.
Nice.
So yeah, there'll be some Cafe 305 involved.
I even told my neighbors, whatever you do, don't cook on Sunday. They were like, no, hell no. Sure. We'll let you do it all. So
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Okay.
I was telling a guy, but you weren't in the call at the time. I was telling him 3 days of your cooking put 10 pounds on my narrow ass. So
And that was just for fun though.
I know it was something to behold, and I really got to say, just you getting to spend the weekend with you, it really was uplifting for me and amazing and fun. And like I was going around, he's telling me, hey, get me this. I'm like, good chef, like getting all into it and stuff. Like I mean, I get into that shit. I do. Yeah, that was a great weekend.
I think the meal I enjoyed the most was that breakfast.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
That
set me up for the whole day. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice. Chuck,
I'm
didn't you
hungry.
say you had an announcement for us?
Yeah, I do. A real quick one. Mentioned today in the several of the pages including the Whiskey Rebellion Barcast page, that there's a Maker's Mark 11 and 12 year Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey in the works. It's a cellar aged. 70% of the whiskey is aged 11 years, 30% is aged 12 years. And it's called cellar aged. And it says that it's 90.6 proof. However, that can change at any time. It doesn't have to be per the TTB and the COLA regulations. That can change. So it can be, less, it can be more. However, I think this is a good thing as far as Maker's Mark's going, because everybody's been clamoring for the past several years, pretty much since COVID. Hey, we need an ultra aged, and I will say that 11 and 12 years now is ultra aged because we're seeing a lot of 4-year, 2-year stuff, pushed out the door, 6-year at extraordinary prices. But the only thing I want to mention about that is that just to keep in mind that there are times when these TTB COLA applications turn out to not be, they don't follow through. Yeah, they don't come to fruition. And there's times the distillers are just basically, they apply for the COLAs just to gauge the public interest. And if they can, if they can sell it, then great. And they may change the labels up, as far as the proof goes. But I think this is a good thing. And that's just like the Sazerac announcement a few days ago, which was right around April 1st with the Fireball. I got a kick out of that, but it was a legitimate TTB.
They filed the paperwork.
They filed the paperwork. And Crown Royal did the same thing with a 20-year Crown Apple. So
that just blew me away. I laughed so hard at that.
I don't know if it's an April
I
Fool's
like
joke.
Crown Apple with cranberry juice. That is damn good.
No.
But a 20-year Crown Apple?
No.
Why?
I have a question for the group. What is your opinion on the rapid aging process?
Garbage.
Garbage.
Doesn't burn out.
Not interested.
Okay. Yeah. When they come up with a way to legitimately bring out those characteristics of a more aged whiskey from a process like that, I'm willing to revisit it. What we're getting now, it's not there at all.
No.
Yeah, there's one company out there that started, I think, with that. At least they got the most publicity out of it. It's out of Ohio,
Cleveland.
called Cleveland, and
it's a horrible product.
It just didn't do it for me.
No,
at all. I don't think you can basically try to shift that time and that aging process. You just can't do anything about that.
No, the elements aren't there. The change of barometric pressures.
Right.
Yeah,
and
you gotta have that. You gotta have that touch to the oak. You gotta have the time. You gotta have
all
the
of
humidity, the heat. The changes in between.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
And
that's something you can't rush. I don't care what size the receptacle is in. You can't rush that.
And I think anybody who's into any particular product that's what you would call a handcrafted product, they buy it for that reason. Ford might produce 3 million cars a year, but there might only be 600 Rolls Royces produced in a single year. And it's for a reason, because it takes 3 months, just to stitch all the leather for the interior, because it's all done by hand, all the woodwork that goes into it. So I think the same thing when it comes to the bourbons. The people who are really into it and we like stuff that we can tell has some age to it, I think most of us will be okay with anything from a 4-year and up. But if you tell me it's a 2, I'm not even.
It's a question mark for me. There's certain things, like a lot of the Bardstowns are 3 years.
A good portion of it, but most of their stuff's blended until they came up to origin.
True. The origin stuff was there to distill it.
and Bardstown has actually done an excellent job with it. But one bottle I had the new riff. It was okay because of the price. To me, I thought it was good for a mixer. I actually end up using it to spritz my barbecue with because it wasn't something I was gonna sit down and enjoy just because
Find
it
that
was
single
there.
barrel, brother.
Well,
Well-
but New Riff, since I started buying it 3 years ago, the product has changed because they've also had the time to get that product
Right.
aged in house, and they're not buying other distillate in.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
I really think it's just become a really phenomenal.
Yes.
Well, they started in 2014.
Yeah.
Right.
And I believe they're going to have, and here's the thing with New Riff. They have their, the people that are financing this, their investors, they had to make a decision on whether they wanted to put that out in 4 years or if they wanted to keep going and put a product out in 6 years or 5 years. They chose the 4. And, they just hoped for the best and they wanted to make, some money back on it, which is fine. But now they're at the point where they can, I believe they have a 9-year going to be coming out at eventually.
Nice. And for me, I appreciate something that some time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, and some love went into. For me personally, I can appreciate it, and I'm even willing to pay the extra dollars to get it. So for me, that's something that I look for. But I think a lot of the young stuff, it's a money grab, and people wanting to get into the market and get their product on the shelf. But I think if your product's not up to par or even in the same neighborhood, then I don't see it being something where it's going to stay on the shelf for very long.
Right.
I think for me, especially with the rapid aging technology, I don't care what you do, you still get that young alcohol heat.
Still feels young.
Yes.
That comes off of that product. You're not getting rid of that in that rapid aging process.
And you can also get a tannic, a flavor to it as well.
But back to that New Riff though. Look for that single barrel rye.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
you'll find that's much nicer.
Yeah, I'll look for that, and that's strictly based off.
Let me know. I can find it.
Okay, that's strictly based off the recommendation that you gave. I had it once, and like I said, the price point was good. I think it was like $25, so I wasn't mad about that.
Sure.
So it wasn't a drain pour or nothing like that. But the fact that I had other stuff opened, it was an easy thing. I got some brisket. Here we go. So.
Gotcha. But hey, listen, we're almost at the hour. Before we kind of rounded out with the live show, I'm not worried about that, and we're probably going to keep going. But I wanted to give an opportunity to Mr. Flemming to give us some information to our viewers about where to find him and his product.
Exactly.
I'm in Louisiana, Leesville. My product is going out to distribution. More to come. We're a one-man band at this moment. You can't miss us. We're on the main artery going through north and south from Lake Charles to Shreveport. So
very good.
As you're coming into Leesville, Louisiana, which is on the western part of the state, we're not too far from Texas.
Okay.
Big red barn. It's kind of this whole building's been through a lot of hurricanes and storms.
Still standing.
Yeah. And
unlike some farms in Tennessee.
There's a storm going right now.
I know.
It really gives you that picturesque backwoods moonshine theme.
No alligators, right?
Yeah.
No
And,
alligators, right?
But just stay on the
have
road. You'll be
no.
fine.
And
Just stay
if
on
you,
the main. Just stay on the main road. You know what we mean by the main road? Just stay on the main road.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the main highway that goes north and south of the state here. So.
and if you have any social media accounts, won't you shout those out for us?
Yeah,
Yes.
we have Louisiana Moonshine Facebook. More to come with the Instagram and then everything else as things develop.
For sure. For sure.
My big issue about that is that could be a full-time job, and that takes away from doing something else. So,
Right.
Believe me, I
get
know.
that.
Yeah, you need to hire a Xennial for that or whatever. Just-
I'm
yeah,
looking to
yeah.
retire soon, so I'm looking for other opportunities.
That's twice
I've
in
done
one
that.
night. I think he's ready to retire.
I'm trying to market myself. It's all
I
good.
retired once from the Army, so so here I am making moonshine now.
Nice.
There's your apple pie.
Very
Looks
nice.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, it is good. So,
Thank you for
everything
joining
we
us.
make is
Yeah,
good.
we
Absolutely.
appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. And
Very
Yeah,
much
we
you
do
know,
appreciate you joining us tonight.
yes,
Well,
and
thank you for
Very
having
much
me.
so.
Been
God's
a pleasure.
and Godspeed to you and all your endeavors, young man. I can really appreciate where you're coming from and where you're going.
Y'all come and see me. Okay.
We're gonna have to
We'll share
now.
a jar
Yeah.
together.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, hold it up. Hold it up, Mark. There you go. Oh, can you get a little
Oh,
closer to
yeah.
the camera so people can see the
You
label
dirty
nice?
Oh, there you
you
go.
go.
Yeah.
Oh, that clear corn.
There you
That's
go.
130
That's what I
proof.
want.
Very nice.
That's
When you
what I
light
want.
that one with a match, you don't even see the flame. That's how clear.
right.
Yeah,
Nice.
but it is
That's
smooth
the thing for me
as
right there.
frog's hair.
Polar solvents.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Okay,
good
guys.
shit.
So,
good shit.
so we're gonna go ahead and call the live show here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining us, and it's especially you, Mr. Fleming. Thank you
Yes,
for coming
sir.
out and joining us tonight. Obviously, if you're on here, you know you've kind of already been dialed in, but tell your friends about us. To like, subscribe, hit the little bell on the YouTube thingy, so you get notifications from when we're getting to go live. We do tend to do a show every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, and we please join us next week for whatever the hell we're doing next week.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers,
yeah,
gentlemen.
that said, there
Be
you
good
go.
to yourselves.
Be good to yourselves.
That's it. Thank you
All right.
guys. See you next time.